Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Moses Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We're here with a terrific lady who is a native Iran, receiving her PhD from MIT and dedicated her career to bridging the gap between cutting edge technology and the marketplace. And place is basically squaring at the intersection of technology and society. We'll talk more about that. She has an extensive portfolio of business and technical articles. And she also has a brand new book telling a story of an Iranian woman battling for freedom on a personal and a national level amid the profound society of changes and forbidden law of Russian reformer, and also exploring the gaining agency, searching for identity and change, and most importantly, it's part of a class of individuals and what society needs, basically, and also on East-West relations and the century struggle for women's independence. The book is called The Silent Whispers. Live, ladies and gentlemen, plus studios in beautiful downtown Boston. The wonderful native Iran, receiving her PhD from MIT, and also have an extensive portfolio with a number of articles, and the new book telling a story of an Iranian woman battling for freedom. The book is called The Silent Whispers. Ladies and gentlemen, the multi-talented Afarin Bellisario. Afarin, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Good afternoon, whatever. Yes, yes. Good to be here. Thank you very much for having me. So yes.
What's great to have you on board as well, too. So you're a native Iran, receiving a PhD from MIT and dedicating your career to bridging the gap between cutting edge technology and the marketplace, and basically placing squarely at the intersection of technology and society. And you have extensive portfolio of business and technical articles. And you have a book that's telling a story of an Iranian woman battling for freedom on a personal and national level amid the profound society of changes and forbidden love of Russian reformer. And you're also exploring the gaining agency, searching for identity and change, and also the classes of individual desires and society needs. Also focusing on East-West relations and the century struggle for women's independence in the book, The Silent Whispers. And before getting to all that, Afarin, tell us how you first got started.
Tell you what?
Tell us how you first got started.
Oh, in terms of starting in engineering, or starting in
just go the Wayback Machine.
Okay, Wayback Machine. I was born in an Turkish Azeri family in Tehran. I grew up as the society in Iran has been changing for a while, and even when I was growing up, there was a big difference between parts of Tehran, for example, where my grandparents lived, and parts of Tehran where more modern people like my parents lived. So I always have seen the difference between the westernized ideas and secular ideas and more conservative parts of the city. I grew up with that, and I always had awareness of it. I mean, this was always existing. I said that my great grandfather was the governor of a city in the south of Iran, Shiraz, but he had 25 wives and concubines.
Whoa, 25 wives? Seriously, I'm scratching my head on this one. 25 wives. Oh, yes. I remember the my 25th girlfriend before I married. It's like I'm having a hard time remembering. 25 wives. Yes. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I can handle that.
So, well, I mean, back in the days, they had nothing better to do, I suppose. But what I'm saying is that Iranian women like myself have come a very, very long way, and hopefully they will go a lot more longer. But that's how I started in a very mixed family in some sense, a mixture of old and new. My father was a physician, was a University of Tehran professor. So I had the opportunity to be educated. And then in the 70s, the 60s and 70s, as I was growing up, it was a lot of turmoil in Iran. So I ended up in the revolution, obviously. But I came to the United States to go to school. I got really good education. And thank you very much. I graduated in May of 1980, just as the hostages were in Iran, and it wasn't a good time. So I stayed, and it was a good move from my standpoint. So in my career, when I was younger, when I was still in Iran, I used to write a lot. I got my first check as a published author at the age of 14. So,
Wow.
so I was writing reportage, mostly um, things about young people and about young women in Iran. But um, when I came to this country, you have to do what is marketable. And I hate to say it, but you have to make a living, so to speak. So I was very lucky to have a talent in technical fields, and I graduated from MIT, as you pointed it out. And so I went to work for high tech companies. But I'm a storyteller. I love to tell stories, even in my own profession. I found that it is easier to tell anything, even a very complicated concept. Sometimes you can make a story about it, and
Mm,
people can understand that, and people can
mm.
appreciate that. So that skill has always been with me, and I always also have been very conscious about okay, what happened? What happened in Iran? We were wearing mini skirts, and we were having good time, and we were westernized, and then now Islamic Republic came in, and everything changed, and situation for women changed, situation for men changed, and so I started, at some point in your life, you're not so focused on your career. You're focused on more things about what do I have to do in life, and what is my role in life, what is my purpose. And I started studying a little bit about the history and what I saw, and because also I also was seeing that technology changes people's lives. Technology changes
Oh,
America.
definitely. Yeah. I mean, cell phones, smartphones, Androids, watches, everything like that. I mean, oh, definitely. So, I mean, everybody has to have a cell phone these days. Otherwise, you're considered a caveman, pretty much.
Correct. And that changes society. That changes the relationship between people and their society. And when I went back and looked at Iran of the at the dawn of 20th century, the last century, then I saw that this was a backward country, and then you bring in uh, technology, gramophone, electric light, and they started obviously from the capital and the big cities, and it's spread. But the technology is not by itself, coming to a country. It comes with Western ideas, so people started reading about the life outside. People started traveling. People started bringing in some of the ideas of democracy, the role of women. What should the women be uneducated and under the veil or whatever? And then things started changing. Once you start changing, then you can't stop it. Once the genie's out, the genie's out. As
Oh,
they
yeah. The good
know
old
that.
lamp. Yes.
Yes, the good old lamp, and we can see it now with the artificial intelligence and other technologies, television, the cell phones, things like that. You started so societies change, but the society doesn't change at the same rate. Some people change faster, some people change slower, and that creates a fusion, a chasm, that makes the country fall apart. And then who are we? Are
Mm,
we the Iran that used to be, or we are Iran of the new? And then some people want this vision of the country, some people want another vision of the country. And women are always, in that kind of situation, women are sort of at the forefront. They're the canary, if you will, in the mine, because they are the one who want to change faster, who are the one who want to take on the new technology, and they are the one that uh, the society wants to put down and wants to stop them from expressing themselves. So when I saw that, I was going to write a nonfiction, and then I said, "What's the fun in writing a nonfiction? Why not write a novel?" And when I sort of it's amazing because one morning I woke up and I said, I'm going to write this story, and here is my My main character, her name is Gohar, and she's very active and she's very
Hmm.
courageous, and and she's always, she's afraid like everybody else, but she's not, but she acts, so that's what courage is. Courage is that be afraid but act, and that's what she does. And
Mm.
she does that, and she does that for her country, but she also falls in love with somebody who's not her husband.
Yeah, yeah, the good
And
old Russian reformers. Yes, I guess wonder how's that coming to play.
yeah, well, the inspiration for that came. My great grandfather was Russian from one side of my family, my grandmother's father, and he came in 1905 after the revolution in Russia fizzled out, and he stayed and he married a Iranian lady. He was married before, but his wife has passed. So I probably have some Russian relatives somewhere in Russia, but it's always have been in. But then, again, as I was researching and as I was looking at the era, in fact, there were a lot of Russians who came to Iran. There were a lot of Iran is, believe it or not, we are the neighbor. We are the southern neighbor
How
of
do you
Russia.
like that? Especially where you're living in Boston, it's like you find somebody from around, maybe like next door, a few doors down, maybe a block or two, or walk into a store or a Starbucks or anything like that.
Yeah, and I do have actually a very good friend of mine who is Russian, and well, she's been here forever. But that's not too well. It is a little bit esoteric, but it's not out of sight. Because again, as I said, and when you have a person who is especially in from the West and has some different ideas, and then that person also brings in some interesting tensions in which I try to demonstrate in my book, if
Mm.
you will. But yes,
Right, yeah, and certainly do. We'll talk more about the book as well, and of course, some of the other aspects with for the Silent Whispers with Afarin Bellisario. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first product. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, one target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews, and Eve 11 enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and Minnows. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com and 40 podcast platforms, heard in 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and also on BitChute, Rumble, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and more. Take us with you on any mobile device. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies. Makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. And support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with the amazing author of the books, The Silent Whispers, Afarin Bellisario, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we talk more about your book with the especially East-West relations, century struggle for women's independence, and of course, with you being from MIT, graduating from MIT as well too, and of course, I'm trying to think about it. Your studies on MIT, and what was your specialty at MIT, and how'd you manage to take some of the stuff and turn to storytelling, like some new ideas, products, maybe just a few examples of that. I'm thinking, storytelling, technical manuals, and everything like that, but you got a nice spin to it.
Well, a part of the storytelling is that when I teach, I like to tell stories, and students usually, I give a workshop about entrepreneurship, and so that's where the storytelling comes about. And then I also used to be before when I worked for a large corporations, in business and in marketing. It's always good to tell story and to tell people what you can do with the technology. And you know it's interesting because you mentioned the cell phones, and back in the days when I worked in digital cellular markets, I would always give these stories that, oh, you can talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime. You can this device will be your life. And that, back then, it was all vaporware, it was all PowerPoint. But today it's all reality. In some sense, it not it's not always the best. We spend too much time with our devices and less time in uh, with our um, with our loved ones and friends. But one of the things that, you mentioned technology. I always have been, as I said, working with the bleeding edge or leading edge technology. When you are young and you are very hungry in some sense in our society to become successful and whatever, you don't think about the impact of these technologies. But when, as I said, as you grow more mature, you see, okay, so what is this telephone that I'm using? This is a technology, but it affects my life. It has good things. My kids can call me, or I can see where they are, or whatever. And when it has bad things, because I'm having a dinner with friends and telephone rings or whatever. So
You mean about the
it's
extended car warranty you need to renew or something?
yeah, exactly. Something that's probably can be handled any other time. But um, when society changes, when these things change, we have to change socially with that. We have to say, don't call me after 6 o'clock or whatever. So, but these things, we haven't. We have the technology, but we haven't um, absorbed it. We haven't lived with it. And that same thing happened before. That's one of the reasons that looking at history is very useful, because we can see what had happened, and maybe we can stop the bad the bad things from happening with the newer technology that comes about.
Hmm.
So that's what the two, storytelling and the technology, come together, because at the end of the day, technology is tool. It's for people, and storytell people are storytellers. People, so it all comes together. And again, as I said, at the end of the day, it's the people that count, and not the technology.
Hmm. And that's certainly true as well, too. And of course, talking about technology, and of course, having the old regime that hates technology, the new regime loves technology. The old generation hates this, the new generation hate that. There's a chasm, like you always mention, friction, tension, but we'll call it chasms in your case. I like the idea as well, too. And how is the new current regime in Iran, about the new technology? What's their point on
What
their viewpoint on?
they basically are using the technology in the worst way, because they are stopping people from using, I don't know, internet to interact, and because they want to control the news. They want to control the narrative. They want to say, they don't want to show that women or young men or whatever, whomever, are upset about what's happening. They want to change. They want the society to change. So they use the technology for their own uses, for military uses, and for very destructive uses. And that's again, it's Iran is sort of like a laboratory where we have to look at it, and the China's, it's some a little to a
Mm.
lesser extent. But here it is, a government who is very oppressive, and they can control this all of these technology and use it just for destructive reasons. So we have to basically take the lesson and say, okay, how can we as people in the United States, with all of our good intentions, people in the United States are very good people. They are wonderful people from anywhere. Um, Obviously, there are individuals who are not great, but for the vast majority, they're good people. They mean well. They mean um, so we have to um, make sure that our technologies are used in the same benevolent way for the benefit of most people.
Mm,
Uh, and that's I think that the bigger lesson is that you know we um, this is what happened elsewhere. Let's just not make sure that it doesn't happen now to us. So
right.
that's my cautionary tale
Hmm.
uh,
And,
for the
and, and,
future.
and of course, makes me think of it too. Next time if I'm Iran, I won't be able to get the score of the Boston Red Sox. How they do against the Yankees? It'll be tough.
Yes, 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 that's true, and that's that's part of enjoyment of life, and enjoyment of life is getting following your favorite team,
Hmm.
and that's quite human. That's great.
Hmm.
So
And
yes,
and as well too that also in terms of the speed and everything, the U.S. seems to be up to speed on a lot of things with technology. Of course, you got China that's just going like ludicrous speed. I mean, they're just
sure.
blazing like crazy in the Asian communities. What's the speed of keeping up with technology in Iran? Do you think they're just they're ahead, they're behind, are they the same, or what pace do you think Iran is at?
Well, I think that there are some individuals are very much um, if I mean, one of the pleasures of being associated or being close to MIT here or living in Boston is that I see young people coming from universities in Iran as well as elsewhere. And they, again, uh, they're all very aware of what's going on. So in terms of understanding the latest and greatest, we are, uh, everybody knows, at least a section of society, they're very well aware of what is happening in the leading edge and bleeding edge of technology. So again, then whether or not they use it for good reasons or bad reasons, um, it's a choice that they're making, and one of the reasons that we need to also develop our own technology and push it and work on it is that to be able to stop bad things from happening, so to speak.
And certainly did. And too, and of course, in the book of the Silent Whisperers, that and of course, you got the story of an Iranian woman battling for freedom on a personal and national level, and running off with the Russian reformer. And of course, there's also some issues going on as well too. Not necessarily technology, but of course, the old way
Sure.
of doing things and the new way of doing things. Just coming to the chasms, as you would call it.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, we're people. People are people. There have been people 2,000 years ago with our own little loves and hates and
Hmm.
desires and everything else, and there will be people as long as people exist. So
Right.
I don't know how long, yes, but certainly yes. And part of the thing about the writing a book of fiction is that I want it to be entertainment. So I want people to have fun. I want people to read it and enjoy it and take it to the beach or to take it to the mountains or whatever and have fun with it. So
Hmm. And,
and
and
I
of course, still highlights the century struggle for women's independence, and maybe just want to get something from the readers from the book and what they
sure,
can learn, the experiences, and everything else. And of course,
sure,
it's
sure,
all basically about going from the new to
sure.
the old. But there's all like this change. It's like when's it going to change? Who's gonna fall? Who's going to go down? And everything like that in the book, The Silent Whispers.
Sure. And I also, you mentioned the book that you were, promoting, that talking about two countries or four countries. People are also, I think another aspect of the book is that it's a different country, but it's a different, you know, all we see in the news about Iran is this mullahs and they're ugly, and that's not Iran. Iran has a lot of good things about it. And of course, right now nobody can go there, but at least if you read my book, then you can also get a feel for what the country is like, or was like, but food, and then maybe people can also enjoy that as well.
And certainly indeed as well too that basically searching identity, change, getting agency, and what society needs and everything else. And it seems like trying to piece together. And of course, I guess if you're asked to be the agent of change, like say, it can come from the embassy, the diplomats, or maybe somebody from the White House orders you to go to Iran and try and make the change as well. What are some of the changes that you would make or recommend?
All right. Well, first of all, I think that one thing is that I think that not talking to Iranians is not right. I mean, I think that you mean that's the old thing that they say that you keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
That's
You
very
don't
true these days, especially in social media. Very true.
exactly, but so you don't have to like what they are doing. I don't like what they are doing. I hate that what they're doing, but if we have some kind of a dialogue, uh, we can at least try to change the behavior. We can change, so I think the dialogue is the first step in terms of. I mean, I'm not a politician, but I advocate always for dialogue. I always say, let's talk and see if there is a way that we can find some common ground. Like environment. I don't know. But the other thing is the other thing that I would do is, of course, promote individuals. Promote the work of Iranian artists or Iranian uh, writers or whatever. So
Hmm.
those are other things, that those are other things that we can do. Um, just trying to understand and know people and know that they're not that different from us. There are um, so many things that we have in common with Iranians. I consider myself American, so but we have a lot in common with other people in the world. My job throughout my career, I have had a privilege of working in different countries in the world. I worked in Europe, I worked in Italy, I actually lived in China for a little bit.
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, underneath all this politics and nationalism and this and that and the other, we're all people. And if we appeal to each other's humanity, we'll be in a better place for that. And that may be naive, but that's at least the idealist in me uh, to to think that we can appeal to each other's good side, the side of the angels, so to speak.
Hmm. And of course, with the help of technology, that can all be possible too. Of course, you got
Right,
Zoom, you got
right.
let's see, boy, you got Zoom, you've got FaceTime, and you've got oh my goodness, it's like, I can't even keep up these days. So
Yes, exactly. I mean, I do. My family is all over the world at this point, and I do talk to them. We have, I don't know, WhatsApp channels, and we talk to each other through that. So it would be great if we can somehow bring about and create dialogue, and that would be a good thing for them. That would be a good thing for us. That would be a good thing for everybody.
hmm. And what do you want readers to get from the book?
First, I want them to enjoy it, have fun, read it. I want them to be a page turner. I want them to read it and have fun. Secondly, I want them to think differently about Iran. Iran is not a country of mullahs with ugly looking faces and hostage taking, and they don't hate us. They are, again, when under the surface, there are many people who love America and Americans and ideas that America is based on. And then I want them to perhaps get an idea about the changes, the tools of the technology that changes made and the society that didn't kept up with these changes. And then seeing the same patterns happening because the pace of technology has gotten so fast, try to understand the effect in our life and sort of push back if we can, or adopt new social convention, if you will. So, I mean, in the old days, you go out and say hello to your neighbor. Now, maybe you can go out and say hello to neighbors again because your neighbor is still your neighbor. So I think that I just want them to also think about that how to adapt to each other, how to be open to each other, and understand that if we don't, then we're doomed to repeat what has not been the greatest,
Mhm.
trajectory in the
Which
world.
which is like, don't let history repeat itself if we don't do it. That's pretty much the
Exactly,
whole thing.
exactly,
And of course,
exactly.
I just got a text message from saying hello, and I said we'll call you back. So we'll do that. I'll come over, and then we can just switch off and everything. So
Sure, absolutely, absolutely.
there you go. And where can we find your book at, Efren?
Okay, so the book has its own website. It's called www.silencedwhispers.com. And the book will be on pre-sale on Amazon as of February 1. So I don't know when this show will be broadcast, but hopefully there. So go to Amazon and buy it. And the other thing that I really would like for your listeners to do is to go to their local bookstore and say, order this book, because I want the independent bookstores everywhere to prosper, and we like for them to carry this book, and we like for people to read it.
We will certainly do that as well too. And what's coming up for author Afarin Bellisario of the Silent Whispers in 2024? And what else is coming up? We'll find out just 1 minute. Listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios, and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Moses Missing. We'll be back with author Afarin Bellisario of the Silent Whispers after this time out. We're back at Afarin Bellisario of the Silent Whispers here on the Mike Wagner Show, and covering a lot of ground, being a native Iran, getting a PhD from MIT, and making it to a storytelling, writing articles and everything, and society change, and hopefully the chasms will come apart as well, too, in the Silent Whispers. And just a couple more things, Afarin, what else can we expect in 2024 and beyond?
From me or from the world?
It can be both. From you, the world,
Okay.
or whatever you want to
Well,
do,
well,
so
I
it's
I
up to
would
you.
like to yes, I would like to see this book to be printed and published. I'm working on the sequel. I'm working on a nonfiction about transformation again, but that one is a slightly different. It's about my trips on four different rivers on in Earth: Yangtze River, Mekong River, Danube, and Nile, and the old story of one part of the country being internal and not so progressed, not so advanced, and then another part, through the same river, you see the changes from a less progressive or less developed part of the country to the more developed part of the same country or another country. So that's also the same team, the same of change. And then as I said, I'm working on the sequel to Silent Whispers called The Russian Road. And so I hope that people buy the first and the second. And I don't know what else will be in the future. So, but I'm committed to writing now.
Well, certainly, we'll certainly like to have you back and let us know when the Russian Road comes out. We're looking forward to it. And who do you consider biggest influence
Absolutely.
in your career?
My career, well, the biggest influence in my career were my grandmother and my aunt. So they were the women who showed me the way. Certainly my uncles. So these are all family members that had this big influence on my life. In terms of international people, as an Asian, I always have looked to, uh, Indira Gandhi was for me very important. As a
Hmm.
scientist, Mary Curie was very important to me. So these are people that have inspired me. But as I said, first and foremost, my own grandma.
There you go. They're always the best inspiration. Family always comes first and most important. That's a great thing. And what advice what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Um, do I mean it's hard. For me, it took many years to be able to do what I really love, which is again storytelling and writing. But do it when you can. Life is always going to fight you. And the other thing is that there's no shortcuts. That's something that I tell. I mean, I mentor a lot of startups in Boston area, mostly out of MIT. And that's the first thing I mean, and everybody wants to become rich tomorrow. I said, nobody becomes rich tomorrow. Nobody becomes a maestro tomorrow. Enjoy the journey, learn as you go, never stop learning, and never stop being curious, and never stop, exploring new things.
Hmm. And that's very important as well, too. And that's great advice. I mean, too many people taking shortcuts. I think you nailed it on the head, Afarin. So that is wonderful advice. We'll do that. Once again, with the author of The Silent Whisperers, Afarin Bellisario, here on the Mike Wagner Show. Afarin, very thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot. Looking forward to having it soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. Once again, what's your website? How
Thank
do
you.
people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your book?
Yes, please. It's the two websites, my own website, afarin.net. Remember my name. You Google it, afarin.net will come up. And then silentwhispers.com is the book website. And there's a QR code you can just scan and it takes you directly to Amazon and you can buy it. Again, I don't really make any money from Amazon. So if you want to go to your own a local bookstore and ask them to sell the book, that would be even better because the local bookstores are the part of the community, part of the society, and that's what we need in today's world. We need our community. Sometimes this community, like you and I, we're talking
Right.
from great
Yes.
distances.
Mm-hmm.
We're still a community, but our physical community is also important to
Mm-hmm.
us as well.
And very important as well too. So for those who are into the old tradition, skip the QR codes and go to the bookstore. And the new ones, well, you pretty much know what to do when I explain it. Once again, Afarin, very thanks for your time. You've been
Thank
absolutely
you.
amazing. Looking forward to having it soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Glad to have you back. Wish all best. And Afarin, you
Absolutely.
definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.